Hello, lads and ladies. Welcome back. Sunday evening. January is over. Thank God for that. That was a long month, wasn't it? You could say that. It's deadline day tomorrow, and as it stands, Jake Tong is still contracted to the channel after interest
God.
from other podcast servers like 4-0 written all over it, the Jack Wall Football Podcast, Charlie Hayes, the Gascast have bidded as well. The Unity of, was it
Progress with Unity.
Progress with Unity podcast as well. Baz has been non-stop ringing me trying to get Jake in. Charlie Keegan was in my DMs the other day. Gab Sutton has put a tempting bid in. But I said, no, you can have him. And they went, no, we're going to pay you to keep him.
Oh.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine, mate. Thank you. Had a nice, lovely weekend in Wigan. I don't think anyone's ever said that. But yeah, no, I'm okay, mate. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't know, mate. Today, I've got tomorrow and Tuesday off work, so it's not the end of my weekend just yet. But no, it's good, mate. I'm hoping you're all right as well.
He's got a knock. Yeah, got a knock. Yeah.
He's got a knock.
Yeah. Can't say anything else. He's got a knock. Yes, sorted. It's been a long day, believe me. Hope you're all well. Make sure you like the stream as we go on as well. For the third time this year, Jake, obviously before we get into it, Fleetwood loses to the bottom of the league. Our record against the teams in the bottom 12, played 13, won 1, drawn 6, lost 6. So it could be better, believe me. It could be a lot better. But
we are just, Ben, us two are just mid-table in our own league.
We've won 9 games, drawn 9 games, and lost 9 games.
We're just bang average.
Yeah.
Let's have it.
Been a horrible season. I'm well, Ben. Hope you're well. Hello, Adam, as well.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're still under an embargo, so I'm not overly confident that the Tile East End are going to be able to get anything done.
Wigan robbed. Heard it all now.
Well, that's Tracy. Hiya, Tracy. You're right. She's good and Tracy.
Yeah. The stream is top of the league in my eyes. Thank you very much. Like the stream. Comment on it. Get all your questions in as well as we start off. Well, where should we start off tonight, Jay? Where
you've done the running order, Ben, so you know exactly where we're starting.
I'll take you the running order. I'm giving you a test.
Northampton,
Mansfield. No, sorry. Huddersfield. I get the two mixed up. Now, Huddersfield are as patchy as they come, and I've filmed a video today, and it's going to go out tomorrow on TikTok. That again, Northampton, great start. Sam Hoskins, a really, really good strike, and that's what that man can do. And he got a lot of goals last year when you look at it as well. 15 goals in 38. He started off well. I think he won November's Player of the Year, Player of the Month. Sorry, November's Player of the Year, November's Player of the Month in 2023. And then this year, struggled for goals. That's only his 3rd goal of the season. And Tommy Hughes, great pressing, great strength, and good finish, underneath Chapman in the Huddersfield goal as well. And then Liam Shaw, who's becoming a bit of a goal scorer since his arrival from Fleetwood Town for just £70,000. Again, already scored 2 important goals for the football club. Huddersfield did score 2 late goals through Kane and Hogg. Again, not quite to be for Huddersfield, who started off the season well, went on a really bad run where they were losing games of football, then went 16 games unbeaten, where I think they won 10, drew 6. Who else has done that recently as well last year?
Thanks, mate.
Same record, wasn't it, as well? They didn't get into the playoffs either on this field, so I start to get worried.
Right.
They've lost the last 3 games.
There was no need for that, was there?
They've lost the last 3 games, all by the scoreline of just the odd goal. So obviously 3-2 against Northampton, lost 1-0 to Birmingham, and then lost 1-0 to Bolton Wanderers. A bit of a blip. However, Huddersfield would take where they are right now at the start of the year, I'm sure.
Yes, Snappers, you're right. It turns out.
Right. Can I just say, right? I'm ill. I'm not feeling well. I'm physically, mentally, absolutely drained.
Well,
Right?
nappers,
I wasn't going to do a
aren't they?
show, but unlike some, I don't cancel when I'm a bit under the weather.
You can't cancel, Ben. We've got another show tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Northampton have got Huddersfield's number this season, Ben. Obviously, that's a league double completed now for the Cobblers over Huddersfield after winning what scoreline at the John Smiths? Do you remember, Ben?
What?
What was the scoreline when these two teams last met?
Oh, Northampton won.
Yeah, what was the score?
3-1.
3-1, correct, Ben. Yeah. So league double. I thought Northampton were outstanding. Kevin Nolan finally starting to get everything his way, really. I spoke to Charles from the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast earlier in the week on the EFL debate, and he was very confident in the fact that he thought they were going to stay up, given the fact that they've been able to recruit a lot better. And a man idea that epitomises that is Terry Taylor, who made a significant impact coming into the team yesterday. We're picking up an assist for Tom Eves' goal. But like you say, Ben, Tom Eves, again, he was at it with a goal and an assist. Can't help but feel that Huddersfield were partly at the root of their own downfall yesterday. Some mistakes and some of the defending for some of the goals. But like you say, 2 late consolation goals to make the score look respectable. But in all honesty, Ben, this was a game that Northampton sort of steamrolled through and had better quality in more moments of the game, and therefore Huddersfield were beaten. That's pretty much it, Ben. I know the stats sort of suggest that maybe Huddersfield could and maybe should have got something out of it, but Northampton were just better in both boxes. And as we both know, that is exactly why football counts, in the boxes. And Northampton got it all right yesterday. I still think they need a little bit of pace in the team, a little bit of energy up front to get buzz around Tom Eves a little bit. Whether Tyler Roberts is going to prove to become that sort of player. They went with 2 behind the striker yesterday in Foster and Hoskins, but ideally you want the likes of Tyler Roberts, maybe someone else with a bit of pace, a bit of buzz, and Northampton could be a dangerous entity going into the back end of this season. But yeah, great win for the Cobblers.
It was, and since Nolan's come in, I think it's 2 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. It's not a bad record, that, when you think about it from what he's walked in, and it is a massive victory when you think about Bristol Rovers again getting those victories on the board as well, and kind of again won 3 of the last, I think, 5 games now with a victory today. Burton Albion have taken 11 points from their last 5 games. Crawley Town won in the midweek as well. Shrewsbury have won 2 of the last 4 to taking 1.5 points a game on average. Those 2 defeats, Shrewsbury did not deserve to lose at all. They probably deserved at least 1, if not 2 points from it. And Cambridge, although they are bottom of the league on 22 points, they've actually only lost 1 of the last 4, taking 5 points. And we're getting a new bottom of the table every week, it seems. So Northampton just getting that win and staying 5 points adrift. Burton Albion and Crawley and the teams that are down there feel that they're making progress. However, Northampton can keep topping themselves up.
We're making progress, Ben. Look at this. Look at the chat.
What?
Have you not seen it?
Oh, here we go. What a guy. Thank you so
$20.
much. I appreciate that.
$20.
$20. Thank you so much. And if you would like to support the channel and become a member, the link is below. It's $1.99 a month. You get 4 extra videos a month. You got a 40-minute episode of me and him just talking about life, our lives as well. Not really football. So if you fancy, I did behind the scenes of commentary as well. We're going to do behind the scenes of this again as well. So we've got loads of comments. So make sure you become a member and keep liking and subscribing. I don't think we can. There's room in League One these days because of the ego of Mr. Matthew Farley. Stevenage are on a roll, mate. They're on an absolute roll. And last year they're on a roll under Steve Evans for different reasons.
You don't want to get in the way of a Steve Evans roll down a hill. Trust me.
Stevenage now 11th in the table. And again, we mentioned the other day how good they've been since December. And not just good defensively, but offensively at times as well. That's their 11th victory of the season. 40 points now, Jay. You're probably about 9 points away from safety, which is always a first basis for Stevenage, you would say. 4 points off the playoffs with a game in hand. They've won their last 3. Positive signs ahead for the football club. Who knows? Why not? Dare to dream, mate. Dare to dream.
Yeah.
And this is a football club that are playing some really good football at the moment. You know, I thought Eli King was outstanding yesterday, bar giving a penalty away, which Exeter, the only thing they did in the game was score that. Dan Kemp again, it has been absolutely fantastic in recent weeks. I think that's 3 and 3, isn't it? He scored away at Barnsley and away at Wrexham. And now they beat Exeter. What a phenomenal victory. They weren't scoring goals up until a week ago. What's that? 1 away at Oatwell, 3 away at Wrexham, 4 at home to Stevenage at Exeter. Before the other day, they'd scored 19 in their first 24 games. They scored 8 in the last 3. What's going on, Jake?
Well, they're certainly in a little bit of a purple patch, and I think that sort of lines up with the fact that Louis Appere has got himself fit and has been selected on a more regular basis. He's that real focal point up front that this Stevenage team were missing, and a real pressing centre forward that helps the likes of Jamie Reid out on the left, Jordan Roberts, Dan Kemp. All those players are stepping up, and you look at the goal contributions yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the goal contributions that came from those front 4. So clearly getting a good quality level of player in that attacking third has been the difference. And Jamie Reid's been out for a while and not hit the standards of last year. Louis Appere obviously coming back from an injury. Dan Kemp, I think, has been a pretty decent player all year. And if you look at where most of their goals come from, Dan Kemp is in there at some point. But I also think that the pivot in behind those two are massively helpful. You've got Dan Phillips and Eli King played the role yesterday, but it often has been Harvey White or Louis Thompson that have come in and played that double pivot that give those attacking 4 real impetus to go and attack and freedom, that they don't have to do the chasing back. And yesterday, look, they beat Exeter. Exeter are on a really bad run at the moment and are sort of free falling towards the bottom 4. So I think this is a good standard for Stevenage to hit between now and the end of the season. However, like you say, it is Exeter who are on a really poor run at the moment. You look at the team, Ben, on paper, there's some clear and obvious holes in there. I know, obviously, they brought Alex Hartridge back and Ryan Trevitt came back in to the football club earlier this week. But still, for me, they've got some real impetus to bring into the group out wide. Obviously, losing Miller Nicali, they've now got money to spend, which will be good to see how they do that. Maybe at fullback, they could do with 1 or 2 more as well. So they're in it as good as Stevenage are, Ben, and we absolutely should praise them. Exeter are free falling towards being involved in a relegation conversation.
I do worry about Exeter in a way that the start of the year, they weren't where they blew you away. You were like, wow, X Factor. It was win 1-0, win narrowly, win by the odd goal because of Super Joe Whitworth, who actually had the best shot prevention in the league. So that tells you everything you need to know. They were getting through games through the quality of the goalkeeper and the back line. That at times you were getting through games when they played Shrewsbury. I thought Shrewsbury actually deserved something and Shrewsbury were poor. In some games earlier this year, they were winning when they probably shouldn't have won and getting away with it a little bit. Now they are conceding goals like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's pretty diabolical when you're conceding 4, against Stevenage, 6 to Leyton Orient, 3 in the first half against Blackpool. That's 13 goals in the last 3, Jake. It's quite poor here. It's quite alarming. This Exeter side, normally quite good defensively. And this Exeter side, under Gary Cole, have always been the same. Always start well. Last year, they were actually top of the table with Port Vale. They'd won 6, drawn 1, lost 1. Then they only got 3 draws at the next 13, where they'd lost 10. They'd actually, after those 8 games last year, they lost 7 on the bounce, and they played Lincoln City at home and got a 1-1 draw that ended the rot a little bit.
You like to remind that every time we talk about Exeter, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to do it, mate. I've got to somehow wind you up. I can't.
What happened to Fleetwood last year at Exeter? Did you win?
We drew 1-1.
Same as us.
We
And what
got
happened at
robbed
the end
there.
of the
We
season?
should have won there. But every time they go patchy. But this time last year, if you remember, they were really good at the start of 2024, weren't they? They went away at Barnsley and won. I think they went away at Bristol Rovers and won. They went away a lot and won games of football. They are now only 7 points adrift. Peterborough, yes, I know they are struggling. I still feel we'll have enough quality to get away from that drop zone. I really do believe that. And then Northampton, I do think they are probably more consistent than Exeter. Burton Albion, a couple of victories, and they're not too far the tails. This Exeter side is worrying. It really is. Look, they've got an FA Cup tie to distract them. Big games coming up. Cambridge away.
Against Forest, who just beat Brighton 7-0. Christ.
Fine, mate. They're fine. I'll tell you what I love. God rest his soul as well, Tony. Massive Forest fan. 1 year he's not here to see it. Forest winning 7-0. Doing well at the top, he'd be absolutely loving life, wouldn't he, right now? But again, Exeter worried for them. Stevenage, full credit, the great side with a lot of good players. Blackpool, everything I said to you last week, that, look, I would quite like Blackpool to start winning games of football at home, don't get me wrong, because then it makes the league interesting. However,
that's why. Is that the only reason why, Ben?
No, however, right,
No.
when I saw Charlton, when I say about Blackpool are a bad side at home, so they'll draw a lot more than they lose. And look, I kind of, in life, you can either choose to be happy or you can choose to be right. Now, I prefer being right than I prefer being happy. Quite frank, I'm quite frankly never happy, but I'm quite frankly always right, especially over you. No, I'm not. Over you. But what I say about Blackpool is that's their 6th draw on the bounce at Bloomfield Road. That is the most consecutive run at home at Bloomfield Road that they've drawn at this moment in time. And overall, it's a good point. When you look at it, how you're 2-0 down at home to Charlton, who have been in good form. And look, if Charlton would have won that game of football, they'd be 6th in the playoffs. That just shows you what a run Charlton have been on. I think it was three. I think it was like something like kind of 6 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat before yesterday. So they've been on a good run. Obviously, good to see. Now Lenny's get a debut goal as well. That you got footballer Silvera coming into the football club as well and getting a goal as well. 2 sides that looked quite level pegging, but Charlton just have the edge in front of goals. It was a good game in terms of output. Charlton scored with both shots on target. I do think, though, as we go on, Blackpool's season is putting out a little bit, but they're only 6 points off the playoffs and they're unbeaten. They're on this really good unbeaten run. They're not losing games. They've got to turn Bloomfield Road into a fortress. Those draws have to turn into wins. One thing I will say, those draws won't last forever. I said it's about Fleetwood in November. They'll either go on a good run now or a really poor run, and that'll dictate whether it's mid-table or the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't disagree. This was a bit of an itty-bitty game, really, for me yesterday. Real sort of take-your-chance game, and Charlton did that in both the moments that they're able to get up the other end. Matty Godden, obviously, Ollie Casey scoring the own goal to get to put them 2 in front. And at 2-0, whilst it sort of maybe seemed a little bit unfair that Charlton were in front, Blackpool came storming back, and it's their 2 January signings, Samuel Silvera, who obviously was at Pompey in the first half of the year, couldn't get much of a kick in on loan from Middlesbrough, get the first, and then Niall Ennis scoring on debut, like you say, Ben. I think he offers them something particularly good, something different that they've not had in this group of centre forwards as well, because you'd probably rather play Tom Boxham out on the left-hand side with Rob Apter on the other. Niall Ennis just provides you that threat in behind up front, and that's his goal yesterday. Gets in behind and finishes nicely off a rebound. So, yeah, it was a really good point. Probably better for Charlton than for Blackpool, given that Charlton are also above them in the league, but we're away from home. It was. I don't know. It was a draw, Ben. There's not a lot else I can say. You're right about Blackpool. They need to start winning games at Bloomfield Road if they're going to have any chance of mounting that gap and getting themselves in the conversation for the top 6. Charlton keep bobbing along. They are pretty decent at home and pick up the odd result away from home as well. But they've still been a little bit inconsistent for me, Ben. They can go and win 3, but they can go and drop points stupidly in 3 as well. So, yeah, it was a decent game, but I think we eventually got to the right result.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jake's favourite lady has entered the chat as well.
Hello, Marie. Nice
Yeah.
to see
always
you again.
remember.
Yeah, 2002. Unfortunately, that
Unbelievable
might have
song
been the
that,
year
by the way.
JJ was born. Actually, 2002. I'm
Same
going
as
to
me.
Google that.
Same as me.
JJ.
I don't know about anyone else, but I look at like former sorry. I look at
JJ was born in 2002.
well,
How
I look
amazing.
at our current skipper, Brendan Wirridu, of being the same, like 2 years older than me. It's like I feel like you're like old enough to be my dad. It's like it's so weird. It really is. So yeah. Next up, Crawley 1, Wrexham 2. Wrexham won in a league away game in which they conceded for the first. Sorry, Wrexham won an away game where they conceded first and won it for the first time this season. So a good, resolute attitude. Sam Smith left Reading this week, although Reading did say they wish he'd stay with me. We're not the only ones to. Wrexham weren't the only ones to try and get him in the team after Wrexham had money on their minds to be able to bring him and Jay Rodriguez into the football club. Three. I got 3 in. Yes.
I want nothing to do with this.
You didn't know I was doing that, didn't it? But can I just say, that was not planned. So make sure you like and subscribe just for that. Thank you very much. Yeah, and Wrexham beat Crawley for the second time this season. What was the common things? And there was 2 common factors in this game. He beat them. There was 2 more common factors.
It was by a goal.
I'll give you that. It was both 2-1. And what was the other factor?
There was a late goal in both.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that. 81st minute. But Elliot Lee scored in the game of football as well. A good result for Wrexham, and a result that you feel they needed, narrowed that gap. And I said a few weeks ago, about 4 or 5 days, or a few weeks ago, that we're Wycombe, in the last 3 game weeks before this, where Wrexham had only taken 1 point, Wycombe had actually taken 7 points and really tightened the gap. However, Wrexham now just 4 behind. Great win for them. Jay Rodriguez, not a great goals return lately. However, previously in previous years, he's done well. Sam Smith, though, is an excellent signing. We said Paul Mullin wasn't quite up to League One level due to injury, due to struggles. Yep. I think Paul Mullin is probably a bottom-end League One player and isn't quite at the level anymore to score the goals at the level where he was scoring like one every game and a half or game in the National League and League Two to score and take them to the next level. Whereas they've had to go and get a striker that knows the level that can score 20, 25 a season.
Yeah, I agree. They obviously spent a lot of money. I actually, do you know what, Ben? Ironically, I was listening to a Wrexham podcast earlier this week. I won't name them because it would be unfair. And they were moaning about the money being spent around in this league on it, i.e. Joe Taylor obviously going to Huddersfield, the money that Birmingham paid for players. And then all of a sudden they go and they sign Sam Smith for £2 million, which I think is slightly overpaying. And then whack Jay Rodriguez on a contract rumouredly of £15,000 a week. I quite saw the irony in all that Wrexham were paying about other clubs spending money. Yeah, look, this game was tough. Obviously, they get through. Matty James scores his first Wrexham goal, well taken finish, and then I don't know if you've seen it, Ben, but Bradley Ibrahim, his goal to level it up at 1-1. I think the Crawley admin said it was the best goal that they've ever seen at the Broadfield Stadium, and it was a wonderful strike from outside the box. And then on in, Crawley thinking, right, we've got a draw against Wrexham. That's a good point. It helps us. We're picking up points against those teams that we weren't expecting to. And the winning goal comes, Ben, from Elliot Lee. Look, from a Wrexham point of view, he does great to get himself in the position to head the ball in. It's a lovely ball in from Ryan Longman. That'll be a big thing for him, getting a goal contribution on one of his first appearances for the club. I can't get over the fact that there's a foul in the build-up, and I don't think the goal should stand. And we've had this conversation before we came on. We both sort of feel the same way. Elliot Lee, I think it's Elliot Lee, completely drags down the Crawley defender, and the referee is looking straight at it. Now, in fairness, I think that the Crawley man should make more of it.
Yeah.
You look at his reaction to the ball going in, and Crawley just seem mad at themselves. They're not mad at the referee. For me, if the Crawley player makes a meal of that, like most of the players in the penalty area do, I think he gets a free kick, and therefore we see a draw in this game. I thought it was a foul. I don't know what you make of it. I certainly thought it was a free kick.
I do, and they're the small margins at Crawley that.
Wrexham
Look, you got that point yesterday.
When you're top of the league, Ben, you like we've said it so many times. You get that rub of the green.
You do. When you're bottom of the league, you get nothing.
Exactly.
And look, it's unfortunate because he probably deserved a point in both football matches against Wrexham this year. Sorry, and it's unfortunate. Look, they've got to start winning games of football. They don't win enough games on Saturdays. Win games on Tuesday nights, which we did last year. It does get a bit easier for Crawley the next 5 games. They've only got Bolton away, Schumacher's first home game in charge of the Whites, Stevenage at home, Wycombe at home, Wigan at home, Blackpool away. I would say if they can get in the excess
5 points
of 4 to 5 points, that'd be a good return.
Tough set of games, them ones. And Rob Elliott's got his feet under the carpet now, Ben. So hopefully, hopefully not only for my sake, they start to get a couple more, get more points and take them off some of those teams that you mentioned, please.
I think I mentioned yesterday about Morecambe yesterday. I don't know why I was at Morecambe because it wasn't League One game, and I must have.
Yeah, why do you keep mentioning?
I think we go to Wigan. We had Wigan away yesterday. Fleetwood played Wigan in a League One game, and I must have gone to Morecambe by mistake. They played this big League One football team, League Two football team, playing red and white. I must have got mixed up.
I think you did, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. However, I think that Crawley, again, it's the mini league down there. From Exeter downwards, if you beat your teams around you in those last 15, 16, 17 matches of the season, you will stay up. And you've got to, it's like the old saying, win at home, draw away. If you win your home games till the end of the year, you'll stay up. We said this the other day. How many points do you reckon it will keep you in League Two this year?
League Two?
League One this year.
Nappers is too busy talking about League. How many points do I think it's going to take?
Yeah.
48.
I've said 49. It was Burton stayed up on 46 last year, didn't they?
And what did you stay up on? 40.
Yeah. All difference. Can I just say thank you to Shane, who always donates as well to the channel. A big thank you to Martin as well, who's donated £4.99 as well.
Super sticker. What's
massively
the super
appreciated, young man. Thank you so much. And thank you to Shane as well. Massively appreciated. Right, there's 157 people in the chat. Oh,
Mrs. McKinnon. What a legend.
Thanks for that. I tell you what, if I slip you 20 quid back, JJ, Fleetwood next year.
Yeah, you wish.
Business, yeah.
You wish.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It means a lot. All donations, all kind of funds go back to supporting the channel as well with new equipment.
I've decided that the McKinnon family are my favourite. Anne-Marie and JJ, that'll do for me.
Ethan's mum, if you're watching, you up there as well.
That's more of a Sue. That's more of a Sue thing.
To tell you what, one of the biggest games I love watching back the highlights, and I absolutely love and adore Gareth Ainsworth. I think that's there to be seen. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. And what a job he has done since walking in at that football club. He has taken 15 points from 13 games. Now, it's not an unbelievable return. However, the course of the season, it'd be about 52, 53 points. Again, they epitomise everything you need to know. You know what I like about him, Jake? That after the Wycombe game, he said, I've come in and I've tried to do this. It has not worked. I need to do something different. And I was like, he admits that he's not this God figure. He knows that he's got to do something. And look, defending your players, people can go at times, they're absolutely rubbish. They're doing this, rubbish doing this. When you're a footballer, and you're in the bottom out, you need someone to really believe in you and really go out there and fight for you. And the Charlton one was disappointing. The Stockport, because they were in the game. The Charlton one more so than the Stockport one, because it was an early goal.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they are in games. They are sticking in games. And they went down to 10 men. His words at halftime were, lads, how many times have you been down to 10 men at halftime losing? Have you won a game before? Yeah. Why can't you all do that again? Simplify it. Really simplify it. And they scored 2 good goals. And look, this is a football club that have lost big players as well. You know, in this window, blocks and losing as well. I will also just say, this is where you're actually going to come for me. I thought Josh Feeney was absolutely outstanding from what I've seen yesterday. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. He was the best player, and people coming back. I thought he was the best player on the pitch, and he's a young player. And look, I'll share this with you now. I know of Josh, and I was speaking to someone at the football club at Fleet the other day. Josh was quite nervous about when Gareth Ainsworth came into the football club, because he said, I'm a ball playing centre half. I've come on loan from Villa. I want to play. But then the coach at Fleetwood said back, look, you need to learn that side of the game. You will learn, it'll make you a better defender. You need to become streetwise. You need to play up against big physical strikers and be able to do the dark arts of the game as well. Tom Cleverley will absolutely love that. But again, so and Ciala getting sent off. We know all about that.
Again, what happened last season, bending it, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when I come back, John Marquis, I think, is becoming a decent striker for them. Look, he scores goal. I think George Lloyd, let me have a look at the time. It's 8:32. Mate, you can stop running now. He ran for every ball. He fought, he chased, he's harassed, and they are hard-working. The best bit about it, and Gareth Ainsworth has said this, was the woodwork. There was a couple of blocks that went in. A really good save by Jamal Blackman, who, by the way, has been absolutely brilliant since coming into the football club. They worked with Gareth Ainsworth, I think, 8-9 years ago. And you just listen to his press conference after the game going, oh, my boys, our boys, you know, they're giving me everything. And I'm absolutely loving working with him. And you just feel, you know, that you look at the players out there, they're absolutely giving everything for him. They're throwing the bodies on the line. If I was playing for him, I want to give everything for him. I am more than confident they will have enough in them to be a good Mansfield side. By the way, I think these are 2 of the best managers in the division. By the way, what they do, they're not absolutely going to go and play streetwise, unbelievable football, but they get results. They build foundations. They've done good jobs elsewhere, and done good jobs in terms of what they've got. I just thought it was a good League One game. Mansfield unlucky, but a really good victory for Shrewsbury. I was going to say something else.
Ben. Yeah, you have to tell yourself back. But Ben, you're right. It is an effing good victory for Shrewsbury. I like you, Ben. I'm very much on the Gareth Ainsworth hype, given the fact that he's obviously a legend at Lincoln, and I like how he comes out and backs his own players in the media and backs his ability and his style of football to get them out of this hole that they were put in by Paul Hurst. And I think yesterday really showed the togetherness, going 1-0 down, being a man down at half time, like you mentioned, to win that game of football. Because Shrewsbury of 6 months ago, Ben, would have lost that 2-3-0, maybe even more than that. So to come back and win, John Marquis, fantastic again, leading the line up front. And like you say, Ben, George Lloyd is slowly but surely making a case to be one of the most underrated centre forwards in this league. His work rate. The boys scored a couple of big goals so far, certainly in the last couple of weeks. Shrewsbury are on a roll. And I know the table says that they're 23rd with just 23 points, but game in hand on Burton. If they win that game, they can go above Burton, who are all of a sudden have the momentum and are looking like they might well stay in the league, dependent obviously on what happens. But they give themselves the best possible chance. Like I said about so many teams, they need work. This Shrewsbury team need bodies and they need a little bit of quality, I think. Castledine, I'm not overly sure where he was yesterday, not in the matchday squad. Don't know if that's alarming or not, but they maybe need someone to be a bit more creative. Tyler Perry is a good midfielder, but doesn't really strike me as someone that's going to help them get out of the predicament that they're in. The back three were fantastic. Obviously, Feeney you've highlighted him playing right centre back.
Oh,
More of
he
a
had
culture,
dropped to midfield at the first half.
like a cultured midfielder that cultured on that right foot as well. So yeah, great win for them. Mansfield, this was the game I bet they were targeting points, and to lose to both Crawley and Shrewsbury over the last couple of days. Dane Oliver looks set to go in at Shrewsbury. For me, I kind of like that, Ben. I kind of like that because
If
Dane
that was
Oliver
under
is
Paul Hurst, I think that's a poor signing. Under Gareth Ainsworth, it's a brilliant signing.
because he's a big lad. If you can remember, Dane Oliver, Gillingham Dane Oliver was something else. If they can get him playing that way, and what I think he offers as well is hold up play, aerial threat. So if they go 1-0 up in games, which Gareth Ainsworth teams like to do, and make sure that you can't get back in, Dane Oliver from defending set pieces is a monster. So I think it's a great acquisition if they can get Dane Oliver in. Obviously, ex-Lincoln as well. Got to get that in there. I tell you what, Ben. I tell you what. He scored a hat trick away at Hyde United to keep us in the National League. That bloke is a legend.
Yeah.
Good luck at your move, lads.
A shout out to Chris, who's again not been very well. I hope you're all good, mate, and keep going as well. I hope you're all good. If you could like the stream, there's 150 in. You've not all liked, and you've not all subscribed. 71% in the last 2 weeks of people who watch these streams aren't subscribed. So if you could subscribe, that means so much to me. It's free to do, so just press subscribe. Honestly, free. And again, we are live every Sunday. Well, not every Sunday in the summer, but every Sunday during the League One season, unless it's an international. Wait, I'll just shut up. Yeah, I'll just shut up. But every Sunday when there's League One games of football, and I've convinced Jake next week to do a stream with me because he was.
You've convinced next week. I've convinced you to do one another day next week.
However, what we do tomorrow, Jakey boy? There's a few questions.
Yes, we are doing a League One transfer day deadline day live show. 3 hours, unfiltered. Me and Nappers in a yellow tie. Be there.
I don't think my yellow tie is going to come out. Come on.
Why?
Go find it.
Deadline day.
The deadline day stream. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 till 11. We will be it's probably likely to be 8 till 11:30 because there will be deals that get done afterwards. So we'll probably stay on another half an hour.
Legends. He's got a knock.
Yeah, potentially. That could be interesting.
I will tell you a true story. And this actually happened. I got a text off someone telling me that something could happen, right? Yeah.
Me?
Will I say that or not?
What could happen?
You know what could happen that's not happened yet. You were asking me questions about someone at Fleetwood. Will he be going?
Oh, okay.
He went, I think he'll go. Anyway, it was the same day as we had a show on Wednesday. I went, for 1 minute, I thought you were going to tell me you weren't coming on the show. I'd rather him have done that. Look, he's a captain of the football club. I'd love to keep him. But Wigan's first 2 bids have quite frankly been, I was going to use a word beginning with P.
Sue loves that word.
Frankly, embarrassing, I will say. And if you want Brendan Wirradu, you have got the money to pay for him. He is, and he can have 200 grand for me on whatever he's worth.
Can I put a hypothetical situation in your head tomorrow?
You know what? No.
What if we somehow buy Brendan Wirradu on deadline day?
Can you just say, I've had experiences with Wigan Athletic on a live show, right? And all I'm going to say is, I will tell you this now. I better just be careful what's in my camera roll, actually.
Yes, I would be careful.
Vlog,
Knowing you, Ben, I would be very careful.
Yeah, Friday at 1:40 p.m. That one of me in lockdown. And just in case he did go when I first heard the rumours, that one was ready to retweet.
Whose idea was that?
So we've come a long way since lockdown, put it that way. Anyway, next up, Leyton Orient 0, Stockport 1. The Orient Express, well, it stopped by a great man.
There's a reason Palmex isn't here, isn't there? There's a
I've
reason.
not heard him. Stockport County won 4
first.
consecutive league games for the first time this season with their 1-0 win at Leyton Orient, ending Leyton Orient's 11-game unbeaten run where they won 9 through 2. Good result for Stockport that takes them to 4th in Sky Bet League 1. Again, a really good run, up to 50 points now, Jake. Their 14th victory of the season, 6 clear of Charlton. However, Stevenage 40, Barnsley 43, Bolton, Reading and Charlton are all on 44, Leyton Orient on 44, Huddersfield 48, Stockport getting that win. And when you look at it as well, only, again, if you look at it, Jesus Christ, from Exeter upwards in 17th to Stockport, only 2 sides won yesterday in Reading, who beat Bolton Wanderers, and then Stevenage, who beat Exeter. So a good result for County.
Yeah, great result to go and win away at Leyton Orient, who obviously have been on such a great run for the last couple of months or so. Maybe one eye on the game next week against Premier League champions Manchester City might be playing on the players' minds, but. I don't know if you heard Richie Wellens, Ben, in the post match, slagging off Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham Hotspur. I found it quite rich considering that 2 of Leyton Orient's better players, while they've been on this run, have been on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. Lots of fans of other League One clubs and other Tottenham Hotspur fans calling for Tottenham to recall those 2 lads to send them somewhere perhaps to be a bit more appreciated by manager. But take nothing away from Stockport, they were fantastic yesterday. Carl Wootton scoring the goal. Alafe working particularly hard up front. Lewis Baton Norwood in midfield is just absolutely a thing of beauty to watch week in, week out. And I'm very jealous of all the Stockport fans that they get to see that. But they've got depth. They've got depth, Ben. This is what stands Stockport out from a lot of those teams chasing Stockport at this current moment in time. They're able to bring Jack Diamond onto the pitch, Micah Hamilton, Odin Bailey, great attacking options as well, without using the likes of the new lad from Iceland, Anderson, Gardner left on the bench, Rydell left on the bench. They've got quality in depth, this Stockport team. Not doing it 2 streams in a row, Ben. They drew 0-0. Yeah, massive win and a really big one because Brisbane Road's a hard place to go, I think. And they did really well. They shielded the storm a little bit and hit when they could, and they would reduce Leyton Orient to just 1 shot on target at home. So fantastic.
I've had a bit of a message from one of my good friends. Could you please show us what your T-shirt says?
My T-shirt.
Yeah.
Who's your good friend?
My good friend.
This is it's Broken Planet. If you know the brand, you know the brand.
Fair enough. I've just got a bloody top-of-the-knees iron that won't get ironed, believe me. Anyway, next up, it is Reading 1, Bolton Wanderers. No, Reading 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. A great victory for Reading. Again, slowly. Again, we're deteriorated a little bit, so they needed to get some type of victory. They'd lost the last 3 before that draw against Charlton, just outside the players at this moment in time. Not really much in the game. Penalty kick that won it. Harvey Nibbs. They lost Sam Smith the other day. That I won't make any more puns.
Thank God.
Very even game in terms of shots. 2 to 4 shots on target. Aaron Collins having 2 really good opportunities in the match. What do you think of it?
Well, what I do think is that Reading should send Harvey Snibbs into a bunker and deactivate his. Thank you, Scott. Deactivate his agent's phone for tomorrow, just to ensure that they don't lose Harvey Nibbs, because losing Nibbs and Smith in the space of 3 days would be absolutely catastrophic. Yeah, like Adam says there, first Reading penalty at home since February 2023. So not something that happens that often at the Madstad, but a good win over Bolton. I think everyone sort of started writing Reading off, particularly given the news that they couldn't sign anyone particularly this month. They lost Sam Smith. People thought, a game against Bolton where Bolton have got the new head coach in place in Stephen Schumacher, it felt very much like all the arrows were pointing towards a Bolton Wanderers win. But Reading, in fairness to them, stood up to Bolton particularly well, had more of the ball, 2 shots on target, but had one cleared off the line, like Adam mentions there as well. I thought they were good value for the win, Ben. Bolton got into good areas, but didn't particularly harm Reading overly. I think would be fair to say. Just a fantastic win, and it sort of keeps Reading alive in the playoff race, doesn't it? Because that puts them now on to 44 from 28, level on points with Leyton, Orient, who hold that playoff spot as well. Great win for Reading. For Stephen Schumacher, I think obviously, I think a lot of people expected it to work, hitting the ground running as well. But it just shows you what sort of Bolton squad he's got to work with by all accounts. Joel Randall had a bit of a poor showing for Bolton yesterday, playing as a striker, which I don't particularly think suits him. But you could see, Ben, he made all the changes that he could. He brought on Sean, Morley, to Atete, McAtee. Atete didn't particularly have a great debut either. So work to be done for Stephen Schumacher.
They've got Crawley at home and Shrewsbury away, followed by Leyton Orient before going into easy games away at the racecourse and quite easy game against Blues, who are only top of the league. And
we're coming on to them, Ben.
We're coming on to them. Are they next? Yeah, I'll tell you what is a bit bad. That before we do come into it as well, hello to David, who's just become a member. If you want to become a member down below, we've got 54 members currently that pay for $1.99 for 4 extra videos per month that aren't really like main channel videos. They're very different. They're very more relaxed, very casual. And there's 31 on there now from the last kind of year, from the last 10 months, really. 31 videos on there as well. That we try to get one every 7 to 10 days as well. Some videos are longer than each other. So sometimes they're a bit longer if we've missed a week as well, but a lot of work goes on there. So if you want to become a member down below. It does help the channel out massively. Right. Rotherham went to Birmingham, lost 2-1. Birmingham City have gained more points than any team in England's top 4 divisions. 20 points from losing positions this year after beating Rotherham 2-1 yesterday as well. And Birmingham City have just lost 2 of their last 22 league games against the Millers. Really good run that, winning 11 of which, Birmingham City unbeaten in the last 15 matches at home, 12 wins in that period as well. However, for Rotherham, they've only just won of their last 9 league away games, failing to score in 5 of those as well. But Birmingham are a really good opponent and only lost 2 of their last 22 league games against Rotherham. They've always kind of been a bit of a bogey team. Jay Stansfield scored a double against the Millers yesterday afternoon, and only 6 Birmingham City players have scored more EFL goals for the Blues than Jay Stansfield. Can you name any, Jake?
Lucas Jutkovic will be one.
63.
I was going to say...
This one of them is an absolute legend.
Scott Hogan.
Yeah, he's up there. But this one I'm thinking of begins with Z, absolute beast.
What, the Blues? Zigic.
Yeah.
Zigic.
This other player, I'll give you this otherwise. Jay Stansfield becomes the first player home and away to score against Rotherham since Clayton Donaldson, who scored 32 goals.
Yeah, that's one.
Another one that's played in the Premier League for Southampton since. Scottish.
Che Adam.
Yeah. And then Marlon King as well, who is the other one. A good victory as well for them as well. Birmingham, again, great victory. Well, they're only 40 points off leveling the record with 57 left to play for their 19th victory of the season, 17 unbeaten. Yeah, all I see when I log on to twitter.com x.com is Birmingham are going through a tough spell. They're not playing well. Well, I'm not being funny. If this is not playing them well, then fear for your eyes when they do. One thing I will say is Birmingham City don't win games of football 4-5-0 every week because everyone goes to Birmingham and go, right, man mark them. They don't think about playing football themselves. They go with the mentality of, how do we stop Birmingham City? And they're so focused on that, they don't play themselves. That no one is really, bar Wrexham, I don't think, has took the game to Birmingham. Yes, Reading. Charlton beat them. Yes, Shrewsbury beat them.
Reading did. Reading did at times. Opening day of the season, they went for them.
The start of the season, yes. Yeah. However, in the last few weeks, the last few months, Birmingham City, you don't really look like they've been out of Game B. And it's like they've had a lot of injuries lately as well. Players coming back, then going back out again. The one thing, I just feel that they're so focused on stopping Birmingham and everyone's up for that game a little bit more. However, Birmingham are getting the job done. And look, it's mental. 63 points. League One again at least next year. League One again. Ole, ole. Stay down, Blues, please.
Yeah, sorry. We'll talk about that in a second. Great win for them. Jay Stansfield, yes, again. I do have a slight concern. My only sort of gripe with Birmingham, Ben, is that they like to go behind. Birmingham. I can think of a number of games in which they've conceded the first goal, and at some point soon that might leave them a little bit unstuck. Obviously, Sam Nombe scoring the first yesterday before half time. Great assist from Dan Gore, who obviously had a pretty unsuccessful loan spell last season with Port Vale, but has come back into League One with Rotherham and has hit the ground running. But when you've got an attack of Stansfield, you've got Keshi Anderson, who scored the winning goal on Tuesday night away at Huddersfield. Ethan Laird on one side looked particularly fantastic. Kieran Dowell, Ben, who every time I've watched him has been a very good championship level player. Right, okay, thanks, Ben. And Lyndon Dykes, who is a man that you could forgive for being down the pecking order at Birmingham, but to start in a game in front of Alfie May is fantastic for him. Obviously, scored the winner in the FA Cup against us, and it was a wonderful winner at that. But he offers something else up front and is the perfect sort of foil for Jay Stansfield up front, who does all the running around and all the stretching of the game, where you've got Lyndon Dykes who holds the ball up. So when Birmingham want to go up front pretty quickly, they can hold it straight into Lyndon Dykes, and he is adequate of holding the ball up against the likes of Raggett and Zach Jules, who are two physical centre-halves, Ben, who have each played, ironically, for Lincoln and Fleetwood Town during their careers at some point. So a fantastic win for Birmingham. They don't need to get out of third gear. They are just exceptional. They really are. People talk about the money that they've invested in the playing squad. They're winning games of football, and they're bringing the city behind the football club again, because over the last 10 years, there's been a real disconnect, I think, between the people of Birmingham and it's one of its major football clubs, certainly not its highest performing, but they're now, people are now falling back in love with their football club, and I think you can see that now with the crowds. So, and often, how many times we have to say to go down, to go back up and compete? Ipswich have done it. I can think of so many clubs. Sunderland have done it. Sheffield Wednesday have done it. Derby have done it. So, yeah, Birmingham, they're all now singing from the same hymn sheet. And I think they're probably going to break the points record, Ben, to be honest.
To fall back in love with your football club, you've got to have bad periods. I do think that, because that makes the comeback stronger. And I said last year, and got a bit of stick for it, the best thing that could happen to Birmingham City is to get relegated, rather than stay up by a point or gone goal difference. And then this year, not finish mid-table, finish top 10, but win a league, get crowds out every week. The owner, sell out crowds every week, win games of football away, win games at home, and just have a feel-good factor and have a laugh while you're doing it as well. See new ground as well. Because, look, League One for me became a little bit repetitive towards the end, and I was quite glad we're out of it. It was just nice seeing new places.
Yeah, do you enjoy going to Crawley and Gillingham and all that, mate?
I had to cover both leagues. I'm like, League Two? No, absolutely. And the other thing is, I will say is what it's like having a missus. You've got to go through some misses to kind of make the right one. And then, you've got to have a bit of heartbreak, haven't you, Jake, as well? You had a bit of heartbreak last year, which you broke your heart.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, so did you, because you got relegated. So
I thought you'd say something else and I could have killed you. Bristol Rovers! I'll let you start off with this because you watched the game. A great victory for the football club. Talk to me about it, Jakey boy.
Well, Peterborough just go from bad to bloody worse. Oh, God. Where do you start with Peterborough? Trying to pass out from the back. Bristol Rovers, I think, not that we gave teams a blueprint to how to absolutely batter Peterborough last week, but I think we gave everyone a blueprint. And to absolutely squeeze the living daylight out of them. And Bristol Rovers did that in abundance today. Fantastic from, I think it was Luke Thomas, Isaac Hutchinson, did particularly well nipping the ball up. And to be fair, Gash maybe should have scored more than 3. Defending for the first goal, woeful. It's a good ball in from the lad, but James Wilson is literally left not unmarked, but it's a very easy duel for him to win to make it 1-0. And there when you didn't think Peterborough were ever going to get back into the game. They had a chance. I think Gustav Lindgren put one wide that he should have scored. But yeah, Gas were comfortable. I think second half they accelerated it a little bit. They stepped on the gas, if you will. Lovely ball from Grant Ward into Isaac Hutchinson, whose touch and finish was absolutely sublime. They needed Josh Griffiths to make a couple of nice saves, and I think he's really come on at this spell at Bristol Rovers. He's become a more commanding goalkeeper, and he played particularly well again today. And they killed the game off with a third, and with Raul Satoru, who they punished Peterborough because on the break, Peterborough maybe could have scored slightly beforehand. But yeah, this Peterborough team, Ben, are absolutely woeful. I said to you last week, they are the worst Peterborough team I've ever seen. Lots of guys getting involved in agreeing with me as well. Lack of direction, consistently playing out from the back when they know it's not working. Our players' heads maybe turned. I think Ricky J. Jones has been linked with a move away this window. Hector Kiprianu's been linked with a move away this window. And the players that are consistently starting for Peterborough are not of the same quality that they had last season. Teo Eden did pretty well at left back. I thought he had a decent game today against Bristol Rovers. But apart from that, I thought they were all pretty poor. And yeah, like Ben says there, no experience in the Peterborough team. They need, for me, and I know it's going against their model, and I've had plenty of conversations about models over the last 3 or 4 weeks because we're going through a model crisis of our own. But Peterborough need to bring in experience tomorrow. They need old heads. And you think about when they have had older heads in the team, Ben, like Clark Harris. I think we had this conversation on Tuesday, didn't we? Like Clark Harris, like Beavers. They were playing a lot better, like Jed Steer as well. So experience is needed in this Peterborough side for me.
Can I just say, did you just say Lincoln City on a mini crisis of themselves?
They're having a model crisis, is what I said. Not a crisis at all. I'm saying we have a crisis on our model.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions on that later as well. I want to bring that back up. Cambridge United 1, Wycombe 1. Cameron Humphreys' goal from a mistake from the Cambridge United goalkeeper, Mike Stevens, unfortunately gave Wycombe the lead for a Cambridge point of view before Josh Stokes prodded home and equalised after Sonny Bradley's red card. For me, absolutely not a penalty. He gets himself sent off. It gives Cambridge a lift into the football match as well. Good point for Cambridge, a second from bottom at the time. Now bottom, played second in the league as well. Mike Dodds appointed Wycombe Wanderers manager today after being their first team coach at Sunderland and interim boss last year. Not a massive fan of it. However, when they gave Ainsworth the job, he wasn't really this highly experienced manager. When they gave Bloomfield, he had to spell at Colchester. They don't go for pedigree, do they? And after seeing Lee Johnson's name at the top of the booking agency, I wasn't quite sure. I don't think that the Wycombe owners would want a big name because from hearing what they're like, I don't think they'd want anyone to argue or challenge them. They've got money, they like spending money, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they'd want someone coming in and taking over.
You don't want a personality.
Yeah, and I think they want a weak personality that they feel that they're given an opportunity to, and if you want to go, you go. Whereas if you gave it to someone like a Schumacher, if you gave it to someone like a Des, they might take over a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't know. I think the appointment's a slightly weird one. Not saying that Dodds is a bad appointment whatsoever, but he doesn't have a massive amount of credentials. But to be fair, Ben, some managers that don't have credentials go on and do particularly well. The likes of Kieran McKenna, obviously. He comes highly rated from Sunderland fans. Obviously, I think he's one of their own, so we certainly had a few spells in charge of Sunderland. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how he goes. But I think you're right. I think they'll certainly be. Wanting somebody that's maybe not going to put up a fight and will just work with the players that they are looking to bring through in their recruitment strategy. But yesterday, obviously they started with no Kone, Ben, and Not even in the matchday squad by the looks of it. No Richard Coney in the matchday squad. Does that fuel a move potentially? I'm probably not, but you'd think that maybe him not being in the squad might mean something. But they still got a good point on the road. Cambridge have been vastly improved over the last couple of weeks. Loft and Ballard started up front yesterday. Thought that was a nice little combination for them. Ben Stevenson coming on the pitch as well. He's a new addition from Portsmouth. A Song getting on the pitch as well from Nottingham Forest. But Ben, when we talk about Cambridge, it is that man again, Josh Stokes. Now, he is somebody who had a great year for Aldershot last year, and he will, I think, I'm not overly sure if he's ready to go and be a big man in this Bristol Rovers team. I think we might be talking about Josh Stokes again next season, but loaned to a top League One team. A top team. I'm talking somebody like a Barnsley or a Bolton or somebody like that. He has got, well, maybe not Bolton because all they sign are attacking midfielders. So maybe actually probably suits the recruitment model at Bolton and if he's an attacking midfielder. So Josh Stokes to Bolton in the summer. Here we go. As Fabrizio Romano would say, but a fantastic performance from the little man again dictates everything that Cambridge do going forward is outstanding through him. And yeah, it's a good point for them on a day in which their other relegation rivals picked up points. Bristol Rovers winning today, Burton getting a point, Shrewsbury obviously winning, Northampton winning. It was important that Cambridge got something out of the game. And if they win the game in hand, Ben, certainly on Burton, they can get up to 25 level on points with them, probably behind them on goal difference. But yeah, and I think they've addressed their issues in the transfer window. I think you just need to get going this group on the grass now and see how they can get going.
I'm going to ask you one question. I want the truth here, and I don't want any sugarcoating, right?
No.
I think that Lincoln City, right, are very much like I was with Scott Brown 2 years ago when he came into the football club. Fleetwood were getting results to finish mid-table, but we're playing a diabolical, and I would go as far as say, I enjoy watching us under Lee Johnson lose 3-0 every week, lose every week under Grayson, lose every week last season under Charlie Adam than I did when we were winning games or drawing games under Scott Brown. That was honestly, I could get behind it last year because I could accept it towards the end of the year, not the start. I genuinely look at Lincoln this year and think there is an identity of trying to keep the ball, but when they have the ball, they're not as good with it. I look at it, Lincoln City are in the top 12, which is good for Lincoln City, good for the budget. They've 10 wins this year, 39 points, 5 off the playoffs. And I'm not being critical here. We've not really chatted about this. You've told me your opinions on the game. You've told me opinions this year on Lincoln. I think that Lincoln are doing okay. It's not disastrous. I can't see that any improvement from Mark Kennedy to this. If Lincoln City didn't go on that 16-game unbeaten run last year, where they did fantastically well, they had Joe Taylor scoring goals, I reckon there'd be more questions on Michael Skubala. I genuinely do. I've watched Lincoln 7 or 8 times this year, and I've come away every time thinking, played well in parts, but they always fear. Like when they went to another Huddersfield, there was opportunity for Lincoln to go and get more from that. They sat in like they were, within fear of Huddersfield. Yes, Huddersfield are a good side.
Yeah.
I think tactical in-game stats are poor. I really do. I don't enjoy watching the product. The results aren't disastrous. 2 wins, 2 results. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats in the last few weeks. It's good for Lincoln, but there's no improvement under Michael Skubala from Mark Kennedy. In terms of results, Kennedy, in fairness to him, his football was horrific. The results weren't, to be fair to him. Be honest with me. You said to me 3 months ago Skubala was an elite coach. Has your opinion changed? And
yes.
What do you think Lincoln City need to go going forward? What's changed?
Yeah, I think my opinion has slightly changed. One of the remits that Michael had when he came in was to improve the style of play. And I think if you watch Lincoln enough so far this year, you will say that we have not the start. Sorry, Ben, let me put my Mac on charge. That the style of play has not improved at all. We are long ball, we are direct, we get the ball in the box, we hoof it up, and it doesn't work. and we are slow in build-up. We are lethargic. We have no pace. I came on here on Tuesday and Wednesday night and said, the Blackpool beat us. Blackpool were not fantastic against us, but they were quicker than us, and therefore they could move the ball quicker, and they beat us. We've got no pace in the team. I think it's very damning that you look at the lads that we've sent out on loan this in the last month. Rob Street at Doncaster. What did Rob Street do yesterday for Doncaster, Ben? Scored a winning goal against MK Dons. Big game in League Two. You have JJ McKiernan has made an absolute impact at Burton Albion that they now love him because he's that good of a player. Dylan Duffy, I know he's gone permanently now, but on his debut,
that's weird. What's happened there?
Set up on a set. I think it's the environment. I'm not particularly sure.
I mean with Duffy, why did it become permanent so quickly?
So essentially, we loaned him to Chesterfield. But they wanted to buy him, but they needed him to play on Tuesday night, so we loaned him, and then they bought them.
Right.
So yeah, it's damning. It's damning of the environment that I think that Michael is unfortunately making. I don't think it's just a Michael issue. I think there's potentially an issue with the director of football, whether that model is particularly working at this moment in time. Hence why I say I think we're having a bit of an identity crisis in terms of what we want to do going forward. I don't know. Yesterday, I thought it was too poor. Coming on to the game yesterday, I thought it was two poor teams. I thought a draw was probably the right result. I thought we were better until Silko Thomas got injured. We had the free kick that hit the bar. Colo had a header. We had Tom Bayliss had one that went just wide as well. I thought we were the better team until then. The injury completely killed our momentum. Wigan picked it up. They went and scored. Now, in my eyes, I don't know if you've seen the issue for the penalty, Ben. It's a penalty. I don't understand why Wigan fans are particularly upset about it. I think it's Carragher's lad that's got both his arms around Jacko and drags him down. 9 times out of 10, that's a penalty. It's stupidity from Carragher. However, Rico Hackett's offside. The goal shouldn't stand because James Collins, as he strikes it, he stops Jason Kerr from defending. I will admit that is offside, and therefore we should be looking at losing. And if we lose, then Michael then probably is under a lot more pressure than he is.
Can I ask you? Sorry to interrupt. Question. I got to the point under Scott Brown where I got angry because I thought something of Scott Brown that turned out to be right in the end. And that's sounding arrogant. Hopefully that didn't come across as arrogant. Without that, his football was awful, but he'd scab a 1-1 in the last minute somewhere. Ipswich, Bristol Rovers 2-2, late winner against Cambridge at home. Dry the place out for 90 minutes, but get something. And yes, I get that results are the main thing in the play style, but I think that play style and a crap playing style, sorry my language, can only get you so far. Will only last for so long period, and then bad results will come. Would you rather? This will sound horrible. If you'd have lost yesterday, there'd been more questions on that. Would you want more questions on Scoobar, if that makes sense?
I think there needs
to lose, but would you have taken a loss if it meant it intensifies it? People actually finally saw it for what it was.
I think people are. I think the performance yesterday and one particular moment epitomised it for me. At half time, we take off Ethan Arahan, who is one of the best holding midfielders in this league. I'm not bothered. I'm not offended if people want to come at me. Ethan Arahan will be playing above this league next summer. That's how he's better than 90% of the ones that are playing in this league this year. He takes him off. No injury. Nothing wrong with him. Because we spoke to his mum and his mum said there was nothing wrong. No injury. It would have let her know. And he brings on Conor McGrandles, who has been particularly poor this year. That was very damning. And the people are not happy with performances, and the style of play is an issue. Like I said, one of the remits Michael had, and sorry to drag this out about Lincoln because I know we need to move on.
Hour nappers.
Hour nappers.
Come on, boys.
I'm not saying I want Michael out. Things need to drastically improve. However, I can see a situation in which, from things I've been told as well, I think the managerial situation will be clear over the next. I think it will. Well, I think it will change in the summer, regardless. I think he's got until the end of the season to talk it to fix it, and if he can't, then I think you'll see a parting of ways.
Yeah, I think relationship with players is a big issue. You know, I worry for that. Big absences yesterday as well. Last but
Yeah,
not
but
least,
sorry,
Barnsley.
sorry, Ben. Wigan were not great. I don't think Wigan deserved to win the game. I know there's a lot of
No.
Wigan fans in here that are saying they deserved to win the game. Wigan did not deserve to win the game yesterday. Wigan were just as bad as we were, and a draw was the right result.
Yeah,
Carry on.
okay. Only 3 teams in England's top 4 divisions. Burnley, West Brom, and Stevenage have drawn more nil-nils than Burton Albion this year with 5. Burton Albion have won one of their last 7 league away games against Barnsley, drawing 3, losing 3 as well. And Burton have only lost one of the last 6 away league games, winning 2, drawing. One of the last 7 league games, winning 2, drawing 4 now as well in that period. Despite only scoring 5 and conceding 5. Good point for the Brewers, 11 points in 5. For Barnsley, though, that patchy Barnsley got on a good run. And then now it's on 1 point from the last 4 available. It's still a point off the playoffs, but again, too much inconsistency. For Burton, solid point.
Yeah, Burton had chances to win it as well. Jon Daddy Budvarsson had one that was sort of scrambled away after really good work from that man again, JJ McKiernan. Yeah, decent point on the road for Burton. I think Barnsley will be disappointed that they've not broken down this resolute Burton team. But Gary Bailey's got them playing good football on the counter. I thought they were fantastic. Had moments themselves, like I mentioned one earlier there. Everything all right?
Yeah, mate, good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a good point for Burton. Barnsley will be disappointed, obviously, on the face of it. They're playing a team in the bottom 4, and they weren't able to beat them despite having 19 shots, 10 shots on target. Good day for Max Crocombe and goal. Yeah, it was a good point for Burton, not for Barnsley.
Yeah, 100%. Right, have you got predictions or not?
Yes, mate, of course I have. I have an update on how we got on as well. So, obviously, last weekend, so Tuesday night's predictions, Ben. We both had a really good week. You got 13 and I got 10. So we had a decent return.
Yeah.
This weekend, not so good each. 6 and 4.
Your way or my way?
Your way. So that leaves the gap.
Widening again.
Barely, Ben. You on 2-3-1, me on 2-2-3. So it's still fairly close. I spoke to David earlier in the week, and he's on like 170, I think, or something like that.
Oh, he's doing his own scores.
He's doing his own scores, so he is.
Good lad.
He's
That's because every week he predicts Burton to win at the start of the year.
And he also, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So, Ben, I went first on the Saturday game, so we're back to you for the weekend's games. Obviously, a reduced allocation, but we have got a show, so we will do these. Friday night football, Ben, at Field Mill, Mansfield taking on Northampton Town.
2-1 Mansfield.
I think this is a draw. I'm going to go Mansfield 1, Northampton 1. Charlton Stevenage, Ben, at the Valley.
2-1 Charlton.
I was going to go 1. I was going to go 1-0 Charlton. Stockport Barnsley, Ben, the last of the early kickoffs.
2-1 Stockport.
I fancy
Barnsley. If Barnsley lose that,
this is what I mean.
If you win it, momentum turns.
I think they win that. Stockport 1, Barnsley 2. Burton Blackpool, Ben, been moved from the
Stockport
Thursday.
at home, by the way.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Barnsley away though, a min.
You said 2 on Stockport.
I said 2 on Barnsley.
Oh, I thought you said Barnsley 1, Stockport 2.
No.
Oh.
Burton Blackpool. It was meant to be on Thursday night, but both teams, for one reason or the other, have moved. It's been now been moved.
Stupid. Why was that on a Thursday? Stupid.
For Sky, I'd have thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, what? Go on, Burton Blackpool.
I can't win either way here. One each.
I'm going to go 2-1 Brewers. Bolton Crawley.
Agenda.
Who, me? Bolton Crawley, Ben. Steve Schumacher's first home game in charge of Bolton.
2-0 Bolton Wanderers. We're the 1-0.
I think they've put on a show. Bolton 3, Crawley 0. Huddersfield versus Reading.
2-1 Huddersfield.
I'm going to go 2-0. Reading.
You're going to go 2-1.
2-0. 2-0. Reading have been awful. Right. Oh, God. Lincoln Cambridge.
2-1 Lincoln. I think he gets a win when he just starts to get questions.
Yeah, I can see that. 1-0. I'm going to go for 1-0 Lincoln. Peterborough United at home to Birmingham City. Goodness me.
Huh.
Goodness me. Double digits?
Peterborough 0, Birmingham 3. I was going to go 4-1, but I'll go 3-0.
I'm going to go Peterborough 1, Birmingham City 5.
Oh!
Posh know what it's like to lose 5-1.
What? Yeah.
Rotherham United hosting Shrewsbury, Ben.
Rotherham United play Shrewsbury. You know what I love? Did you beat Peterborough 5-1 last week?
Yes, mate.
A week later, you called the manager out. What an absolute buffoon you are.
That game's not even going to happen. Peterborough back Birmingham's not going to happen. It's called off. Lol.
That's good.
Rotherham Shrewsbury.
1-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 Shrewsbury.
Wednesday, Thursday, happy day.
And then Wrexham, Leyton, Orient off as well. So that's it. So we've got Mansfield, Northampton, Stevenage, Barnsley, Blackpool.
Look at you trying to get next weekend off.
No, I don't want next weekend off.
Yeah. Right. Any questions? Get them in below for the next 5 minutes or so. If you could subscribe,
I'm feeling a little bit of
223 people. Get subscribed.
I'm feeling a little bit of saltiness coming from a particular Wigan Athletic fan at the moment. I don't know, bit of Hugh. He's not particularly happy. Sod's law, mate. Unfortunately.
Fair enough.
I plug my Twitter while we're here.
Yeah, go on, mate.
At Jake_Tong98, please. What on earth are you doing?
I'm trying to see if it'll work.
Oh,
no.
Oh, Ben, you've messed it up. There we go. Yeah, I am now 34 off 1,500. So if you can come on down, get me a follow. And
there you are.
There you are. There it is. That's my handle. Come and follow me. Be a good chat. Here for the Lincoln podcast. We'll be out Tuesday as well, talking about that game. We'll do well to get an hour out of that one. But yeah, fantastic.
I'll just
right. Should we try and promote
that's
tomorrow? So we get people to come tomorrow.
Yeah.
8 o'clock. Set your alarms. 8 o'clock. Me and Nappers. League One transfer deadline show. I think what we're going to do is we're going to be reacting to any signings that are incoming and outgoing. I think we're going to react to. We're going to talk about. I think what the plan will be is to talk about everybody's January business. That'd be.
It's going to happen again, isn't it? It's going to happen again.
It's going to happen again. Yeah, I think that would be I think that's fair. AJW has come back with a membership, Ben.
What a man. What a man. Thank you so much, mate. Legend.
Don't worry about the thumbnail.
Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. My co-host is poor every week, so he still gets.
Oh, that's a little bit. That's out of order. It's out of order.
Subscribe to. Welcome back to That Football League podcast, hosted by me, Ben Natman, with your other co-host, Jake Charlton.
Ben, you need to move on. Come on, you need to move on.
It's like a sour X, isn't it?
But we will be here tomorrow, 8 till 11. Me and Ben. I will be sporting a yellow tie because it's transfer deadline day, and I expect Ben to do the same.
Maybe.
Yeah, please come and join us because it'd be nice to have your company. It's going to be now. Me and Nappers normally do an hour and a half show, and they often get what you guys don't see is that when we're finished, me and Nappers get completely knackered after these. We just go off straight to bed. So tomorrow, doing a 3-hour show, probably 3.5 hours, given that the things will happen after 11. We're going to be exhausted. So feel free to come and stick along. Make sure you've got some stuff to talk about. Would be great. Yeah, I don't know. Just we're anticipating a lot of movement tomorrow, Ben, aren't we, in League One?
Do you think Lincoln will bring anyone in?
I have a feeling we'll have one in and one out, is my anticipation. And the out will be significant, is what I'm expecting.
Right. Okay. Well, tomorrow, 8 o'clock, be there. We'll see you later.
We'll see you then. We'll see you tomorrow. Can't wait.
Bye all. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe on your way out, and drive safely.